This is the other board, isn't it?
Really, really, really elaborate.
Spine specimen.
Selina Kumbu is a no-nonsense English teacher who's been at City and Islington College for 2 years.
Out. Number one, you're late. There's people in this class who are waiting and you come screaming in like that. That kind of noise is unacceptable.
In her first year, she was keen to show the students just who was boss. But a year on, she's worried her assertiveness may be too harsh, and she's hoping Jenny Green, the head of the Teaching and Learning Unit, may be able to help.
Right, is everyone ready?
It's an English Language and Literature AS level class, and the students are analysing the grammatical structures of an Amnesty International article on torture.
Right, so we've got concrete nouns, guns, pliers, electrodes. It could be a lexical set of what?
Weapons.
Good. Right, so lexical set of weapons, lexical set of pain. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, what I want you to do now. So you know how to come up with points. You know how to talk about the effect on the reader. Now you need to practice how you're going to write it.
What are your impressions of now seeing yourself in the opening of the lesson, and how do you feel it was going?
I feel they were engaged with the work. I think that when I teach, I'm very not formal, but I like to have a sense of work, a work kind of ethos in the classroom, because they're first years. So I think I've come across as being very like in the army.
No, not in the army.
A bit regimental, almost.
I think in control is how I would put it.
Whenever you see my marking, if I've put this on under something, right, that means you need to rephrase it. Either you need to change a word, there's nothing wrong with the word you've put, but a better one would be in there, or the whole phrase, you could change it somehow. If you see a line under it, spelling. I'm not going to spell it for you because you'll never remember it. So it's for you to go away, get a dictionary. Does everyone have a dictionary at home? Yeah. Right, get a dictionary, look up the word and find the correct spelling.
You do have high expectations of the students, I think, both in, expectations that they're there on time, that they bring their work. I noticed how all of them, I think all but one gave in their homework. So that's very impressive.
This is a lexical set of violence and also connotations of weapon. These concrete nouns create a feeling of anger and shock to the reader. It also makes the reader sympathise with the victims.
So good. So we've got abstract nouns, we've got use of adjectives, use of repetition. Alex?
They use names of the victims to make it feel a bit more personal because they're telling you their story.
That feedback they gave, I thought was really interesting. I mean, they were able to understand the terms like modal verb, abstract nouns, difficult concepts, but they were also able to relate them to the writing.
Yeah, they've learnt a lot in a short space of time, and it can boost their kind of confidence as well to say, I know how to use these terms, and 3 weeks ago I didn't know.
The class then grapples with the grammar alone, with Selina working with individual students.
What is your point?
That it brings up a clear image.
Where's the noun and where's the adjective?
Adjective is electric, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the noun is cattle. And not prod, more prod.
More the prod and the cattle prod.
Is the modifier, isn't it?
So they're both modifiers, yeah? So this is the noun phrase, the main noun. And this is, what did you say before?
To say the adjective.
Yeah, and how old are they?
23.
23, so someone very young, been electrocuted. How are they being treated then? Like what?
Like cattle.
Like cattle?
Yeah.
Yeah? So
Simon, I taught him GCSE last year. I kind of spent a lot of time with him because he looks a bit down, And I don't want him to feel that it's too hard, because it's not, and everyone's feeling the same way.
Well, I thought it was very interesting because I felt it was an example of you being able to push a student, but in a gentle way. So you were pushing him, you were moving him forwards.
You don't just want to put the word does this, right? Proper nouns, let's put the adjectives, repetition.
But Selena's high expectations and tight control are coming at a cost. She's finding it difficult to vary her teaching style, and the students are in the firing line.
Finish off. The concrete nouns, guns, electrodes and pliers.
It's to show the reader the equipment.
And I'll show the reader
The equipment that they're using to torture the people.
Is that all you've written?
No.
Keep on going then. Concrete nouns such as cigars, electrodes, pliers and guns.
Are used in the article to show blah blah blah.
The violence.
It's the blah 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 that's important.
I feel almost like scared for the students. I feel a bit scared for them, but
There's always ways of bringing in a bit of fun learning into a lesson. So at some point, maybe just before break, just after break, somewhere they have that space for just kind of relaxing a bit, and which helps reflection.
He,
she, they.
Right, what is your name?
Rohi.
Yeah, what is that?
Proper noun.
So just because it's got noun title in the words, don't get confused. Right, what types of adjective are there?
Emotional.
Simon?
Evaluative.
Physical and emotional.
it's taken me a while to get to the stage that I'm at, even in terms of, you know, allowing them space to laugh and joke with each other. The observation you did with me last year, I could see where you were coming from, in that it was very, very regimental and very businesslike. And after that, I went out and I wrote, "Where is the fun?" on a post-it.
I mean, you're in your second year of teaching now, and like last year, it was really important to get what you've done so well, all that control and that focus. Yeah. But now, in this year, you can have space to enjoy with them.
It's not just Selena's presentation skills that could be improved. Jenny feels it's an area the students need support with too.
Therefore, an intimate bond can be developed, initially allowing the reader to want to allowing the want to help the victim rather than being forced into a situation to donate money unwillingly. In addition to that, the audience feels guilt due to their personal relationship established with the victim from reading the article, making them donate money quicker and possibly in larger sums.
Good. Okay. Can you breathe? Okay, so what she's done, she's taken this idea of use of proper nouns and she's kind of really elaborated on it. Alex?
The use of concrete nouns such as cigars, electrodes, pliers, guns, and so on.
Her handbag, I mean, that was a brilliant...
Armour.
Yes, armour, wasn't it? So she's hiding behind her handbag. Think about presentational skills. Think about what you can do to really enhance them. Because the other student next to Alex, who gave the brilliant answer, she read it so quickly that it was difficult to hear any of it. And I think it was a problem for nearly all the students. I think they all have problems with presentation. Yeah. What kind of ideas have you got for doing something about improving their presentational skills?
Maybe the beginning half of the lesson, they're working in their groups, and then there's a very formal, stand up at the front and present back to the rest of the class. And then maybe it won't be so on the spot, and then they'll get used to it.
In her next lesson, Selena wants to relax a bit and make the lesson more fun. She'll use group work, with students preparing presentations for the class. But it won't be easy. Her cough has turned into a heavy cold.
Right, so remember, you are going to present to the class. So your ideas have to be clear. When you're standing up here, you have to know what you're saying. I'm going to give you 15 minutes.
And it helps create imagery, because at the beginning he was describing the girl. I know I'm not answering what you're asking.
It helps create imagery, and you're not answering. See, I'm getting confused as well. Okay, let's think of one thing at a time. So how is that indicated on the page?
Quotation marks.
Right, so direct speech, quotation marks.
Today, The students are working on the meaning and grammar of two romantic poems about childhood, The Schoolboy and We Are Seven.
Remember, this is written when? Like, hundreds of years ago?
She's white.
Huh? All right, you know what I mean. You've got this young girl, and she's dressed very wildly. She's got a woodland air. Right, so if she's got a woodland air, what kind? Where would you? Is she a city girl?
She's a country.
Right, she's a country girl.
He imagines how this person may have been affected by the environment that he thinks is damaging to the young people.
We're going to look at it in more depth because I didn't realise the gym thing.
Oh, no, you've said it already. Okay, everybody.
The groups are working well, allowing Selena to talk less and moderate her teaching style, while the students' confidence also seems to be developing.
Okay, we're going to have two groups presenting, one group from each. You are going to grade, you're going to kind of come up with a winner, right? For the best group who do the best presentation. Content, do you actually understand what on earth they're talking about? Right, does it make sense to you? So have they organised their stuff to make it easy for you to understand, okay? And the winner, there'll be a prize.
He thinks that school is boring and that teachers are cruel, and then that relates to our other linguistic feature, which was the cage bird metaphor.
Yeah, you want to always come back to what is the poet trying to say? What is the meaning? Right, instead of just saying, this is a metaphor.
He wants to be free and mix with nature, but school stops that.
Right, so he wants to be free with nature.
Yeah.
School stops that kind of instinct, I suppose, yeah. Thank you. Right, so give that group mark out of 5. Small comment, eye contact, blah, blah, blah.
Selena's given the students a table to peer assess each of the presentations.
Yes, up.
The second voice is that child, girl. The third one is now. It's basically just two voices, but the man is talking as the narrator as well.
Okay.
Jackie?
Talks about kind of like the girl, that she's free while not tamed properly, like a country girl.
Okay, everyone, we're going to close up.
That's what you mean. People are going to do it to us next week. What?
Unfortunately, time's run out, and there'll be no prizes this week. But the lesson seems to have gone much better for both teacher and students.
Goodbye.
So, you survived despite your cold.
Oh my God, I thought I was going to faint. I'm so hot. I've got so boiling.
But how do you think it went after?
I think, considering the fact I've got my cold, I think it went okay. I think the timing was a bit of an issue. So I think maybe that should have been worked on a bit. But like when I was going around, they'll come up with like really interesting stuff, and then I can't stop talking, and then I end that conversation, I look at the clock and it's too late. So I think keeping an eye on time is one thing. But I think the presentations, it did make them think.
Yes, it did. And I also thought having the sheet for them to mark each other was a really good idea, and that was a fun idea, and they were really keen. Some of them still do need a little help with the presentational skills, particularly in the things not so much in the content and the ideas, but still in the way they're talking and presenting themselves. So it's something that you can go on working with them. But I thought it worked ever so well.
Yeah.
They were listening to each other, they were all involved, all talking, and learning to work as a community in a way, and then supporting each other across the class at the end. So no, I think that was really great.
Oh, good. Oh, it's a relief, I tell you, to hear that.